I'm Susan, and welcome once again to Tea and Games. This time it's part 2. I started recording a video of the games we played over the 3 weekends when I wasn't telling you about the games that we played because I was doing other videos, and that came out terribly long. So I did part 1. And now this is the intro to the second half of the video. Enjoy. We played Village Rails. Do you ever just find yourself, there's one game on your shelf that just keeps catching your eye and you keep thinking, we should play that again. I really like that game. Been a while since we played that. Really like that game. We need to play that game again. That was Village Rails. It's like, anytime I looked at the game shelves, this was what caught my eye. So yeah, we pulled out Village Rails and played it again. The first playthrough was a little rough because it was because we were just it took us a little while to kind of get into the rhythm of things in terms of getting the stuff and laying them out. This is probably the niftiest small box train game. There may be another nifty small box train game, but this is pretty much, it's a lot of game. There are some crunchy decision makings in there. It's not hard. It's basically easy, and you're laying down tracks and matching them up, and you're getting trip tickets that give you special stuff, and you count up your points on a little counter here. And this is your framework. It plays up to 4. And you pick a corner piece that's lettered randomly or deal them out randomly, and then you pick the matching pieces there. So everybody has more or less the same things, but the starting stuff is not always it's not going to be in the same position for each one. And you try to fulfill the stuff that you need on the cards. You have got money that you get for completing railways, but it's a nifty little game. Each player is doing their own thing. The direct competition comes with the whole putting the coins out and then getting the track that you want that's laid out there, or getting the trip card that you want that's laid out there. So sometimes people will get the stuff that you want. There's something we've noticed though, and that is sometimes those trip cards, there's one that neither one of us can use. That would be, say, kind of a tricky one to get. That's right at the beginning of the queue, like at the free spot, but nobody's going to take it. So you put a coin on it and you take the next one and that one. And so we found that we sometimes get stuck with 1 or 2 cards right there at the very beginning that we're not taking, so that the cost of those trips actually starts going up. I think this might be less of a problem with 3 or 4 players, because there would be more people that those cards might possibly work for them, for their routes. But at the same time, I'm looking at some of them, and some of them are actually kind of tough. So I think that may be that whole thing of having a kind of tough to make it work kind of card there that may end up being near the beginning of the queue, just may be a built-in thing, not necessarily something that you're going to avoid with a higher player count. And then that same weekend, we got City of Iron off our unplayed game shelf. This is the first edition, which we got at Half Price Books. I just stumbled on it. This is the first game in Ryan Lockett's Arzium series from Red Raven Games, and there is a second edition of this game. I wanted to get a look at it. I wonder, because we like some of the Arzium games. We don't have all of them, but we like the Arzium games that we played. So knowing that this was out of print, I thought, and it was fairly inexpensive because it was less than half price actually. So yeah, I went ahead and I got it. I thought this will give me a chance to get a look at this first game in the Arzium series, see if it's something that I maybe want to look for a second edition of, or see if it's something that we want to keep or play, or just get some idea, because we're just not, we just have never seen this before. We played it, and the first playthrough was really long and really, really rough. It took, 4 or 5 hours, but we just had problems understanding what we were supposed to do exactly. I mean, we knew what we needed to do, but there were just contingencies and things like it lasted a very long time because we were learning the game. And it seemed like just about every turn, either me or Robert would have to consult the rule book about something. We're going like, well, I'm going to do this and that. And I'm going like, but can you do that? I'm going like, but I don't know. I mean, is this town or city? Do I have to have this gear before I do that there? And so we're just back to the rule book again. And then it's Robert's turn, and he's going like, I'm doing that. And I'm going like, I don't think you can pay for that with that, because you're going, or something like that. I don't even remember now what it was. And he's going like, I don't know. And then it's back to the rule book again. And then we're like reading out line by line the stuff on the rule book and discovering that the way it's worded doesn't actually answer our questions about things, because there's a little bit of wiggle room in there. It can be interpreted more than one way, a bit of ambiguity baked in. So basically, we would look at the rule book and not find the answer to our question, or we would look at the rule book and we would find something that could be the answer to our question, but it's still open to interpretation. So it was a really slow, grindy, frustrating experience, which is, I think, not part of the game design. It was just, we just had a lot of trouble with it. But after the game was over, we talked about it, and we feel like that there's a good game in here somewhere. I think that there's like the kernel of a good game in there. As we played, we could see the game that it was meant to be in there, but we just couldn't play it well, or we were like, as we're playing it, at a certain point, we just started house ruling things, because we're going like, I'm not sure if we're playing this right, but, that's just going to be the way it is. It's like, we're not doing this right, but we're doing it. So yeah, we're kind of on the fence about this. Maybe the second edition. I'm hoping that the rule book will be somewhat more precise and concise about things. I can't say we enjoyed it. We didn't hate it. It was a very rough first playthrough. Rougher than it probably should have been. I don't know. I wanted to like the game more than I actually did. I'm not sure if we're going to keep this. We might get rid of it and see if we can get a copy of the second edition and see if it's any better. Or we might just get rid of it, or we might keep it and just keep plugging away at it and researching our questions about when things come up in turns until we've got gameplay smooth. Because I think that the gameplay of this will be smooth once we understand certain things better. Yeah, I do kind of really want to like this game. So we may keep plugging away with it, or we may get rid of it and plug away at the second edition. That's still a little bit up in the air. I love the artwork, though. And like I said, I think that there's a lot of stuff about the game that could be good in it. My tea mug has gotten away from me here. I've kind of cleared the decks here because I've gone through a lot of games. So what did we do this past weekend? Because those were the weekends of when I was doing videos about other things. So this weekend on Saturday, we got another game off the Unplayed Game Shelf, Tiny Epic Dungeons. This was the first Kickstarter I backed. Yeah, we got a lot of lid lift going on here. And I don't even have the Boss Meeples in the box here, because then the box lid would be like this, you know. Oh, not holding it up above the camera, you know, because because that would be even more. I'm starting to have a little bit of a problem with the Tiny Epic games, because they're getting not so tiny now. We were not crazy about Pirates. The Pirates playthrough was like a little rough. I think we could do better with Pirates. I think eventually we might like Pirates, but it's like every game just seems like they're going more for the epic than the tiny. And, you know, it's just like you can't get everything back into the box once you open the box up. As a matter of fact, there was even a Kickstarter of larger boxes that were licensed boxes to hold the Tiny Epic stuff, because you can't get them back in the box. This was a very rough playthrough. We did the Dies tutorial, and like with Mist over Carcassonne, we've used the Dized app, D-I-Z-E-D, for 3 tutorials, all co-op games. Robinson Crusoe, which it was brilliant for. I highly recommend you use that for setup and play for Robinson Crusoe the very first time. It will get you oriented and get you into the game really well. And we used it recently for Mist over Carcassonne, and darn nearly lost the game before they told us how to get rid of the stuff that would lose us the game. We had to actually just like bail out of the tutorial and pull out the rule book, which it says you won't need the rule book because you've got this app. So we did that, and we managed not to lose Mist over Carcassonne in our very low-level novice game. But this game, yeah, it absolutely, totally did not tell us any of the things that we needed to know in order to be successful in this dungeon that it was having us go through. And so consequently, we lost. We lost before we even finished the tutorial. So yeah, that was kind of bad, but we kept playing even though we had technically lost the game, because we wanted to learn how to play the game to see how the game played. And I have to say that this game is pretty joyless, very grindy, at least for us. I mean, we went through it and we didn't get to act, it's in 2 acts. But we didn't go all the way through to Act 2. We just kind of like worked on Act 1 and gameplay and everything, and we didn't like it. I mean, we really didn't like it. It's the dungeon, moving around the dungeon and doing stuff seemed pointless. The cool stuff you get when you hit a treasure tile was really not cool and utterly not helpful at all. And I mean, it's possible it was just the things that we got in that particular game, but still, you shouldn't have a game where the great stuff that you get on the treasure tile isn't great. That just shouldn't be an option for a treasure tile. So, yeah, and I mean, it just seemed like the whole dungeon thing was utterly pointless. And it was very grindy, and it was very tedious, and it was really lots and lots of combat. If you want something that is just a grind of combat, low reward, tough, soulless, joyless play, this is the game for you. Yeah, we hated this. I mean, I can't even tell you how much we hated it. I will have to say, though, that I think that this game is going to be a fun game for a lot of people. If you really, really love dungeon crawlers, then you should probably take a look at this game, because it is dungeony and crawlery like crazy. But, I mean, dungeon crawlers are just kind of not very high up on our list of game types. It's very low on our list of game types, actually. But I thought it would be fun. And it wasn't fun. I mean, that was the thing. It wasn't fun. I mean, it was just so not fun. And one of the problems we had with the game is kind of in some ways not the fault of the game, and that is that this game suffered very badly by comparison with another dungeon crawler we have. We have two other dungeon crawlers that I can think of that we've played. We've got one we haven't played. We have got... We've got Dungeon Heroes, which is a player versus player it's not a Tiny Epic game, but it's by the Tiny Epic people. And we thought it was kind of interesting. It's not like great, but it was okay. We were surprisingly okay with it. And then we got Library Labyrinth. And that's the game that this suffers by comparison to. It's like the whole time we're playing this, we're making comparisons to just how bad this is compared to Library Labyrinth. So, I mean, the thing with Library Labyrinth is you could be having your head handed to you collectively, since it is a co-op game, and still it is so much fun. And I mean, this is why we play games. We play games to have fun. And Library Labyrinth is just a box full of fun, win or lose. No matter what happens in the game, no matter how the game goes, you're going to enjoy it. This game, it's like there's no enjoyment, not for us. And the way the gameplay went, we kept kind of comparing it to Library Labyrinth and going like, oh man, this is so messed up. So yeah, this was not a hit. This is going out of the collection. I mean, we basically got halfway through, or not even quite halfway through, a gameplay of this and decided to cull it. And that's never, ever, ever happened with any other game. There's no other game I can think of where we started to play it and said, right, we're ditching it. Although I came close with, say, Cribbage. Yeah, but we did play it. We figured it out. Also this weekend, after just being traumatized by Tiny Epic Dungeons, we went back to our gameplay comfort food and basically just wallowed in easy, smooth, fun, light games, comfort food games, I guess you might say. We got in a couple of plays of Takenoko, otherwise known as the Panda game. I've joked about this. I actually mentioned this in a previous video, I think, that this game makes me kind of tense because I'm not very good at it. It seems like that most of the time when we play, I get objective cards that I do not have a prayer of getting. It's like today, I mean, like this past weekend, I drew like yellow, 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 4 yellow, 3 yellow, 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 more yellow, and yellow tiles. And so it's like, and there's no yellow on the board yet. So I'm going like, okay, right, I can work with this. The board's going to fill out. It'll work out fine. Right. And then it's like, board does not work out fine. We get some yellow tiles. I don't get the things that I need. And then it's like, and the yellow bamboo. And it's like, that's not working out at all. And it's like, and each objective card, some of them says, and it must have this symbol on it. And the others say, and it may not have this symbol or that symbol or that symbol on it. And I'm going like, oh God, the cards are basically the same and none of the tiles quite fulfill what it needs. And then it's like, finally, I get something, and I'm going like, right, turn in one, draw more cards, draw more cards. I've got up to my hand limit of 5. Like, I stayed at my hand limit of 5 for most of the game, because it's like every time I got a new objective, all the objectives left in my hand were so hard that I had to draw another objective card in the hope that I would get something that I might have just some chance of getting. Robert just beat the pants off of me in every game of this, and he usually does. I have had some good games of it, and I love the game, and it is a very pretty game. The first time I opened it up and I saw these tiles, I just went, ooh, because they are so pretty. This is a beautiful, beautiful game. And I dropped something. I'll pick it up later. We like it. And I've got things that have fallen into other things here. We like it and we enjoy it, but I just don't have a lot of luck with it. I like hidden objective cards, if they're bonus cards. But in this game, the objective cards are the point of the game, getting X number of objectives. So it's like I struggle. I really struggle, but I do enjoy the gameplay. It's like I would enjoy this gameplay a lot more if I weren't actually trying to meet any objectives. I think probably my enjoyment of the game, I should just try not to think about what I can do to win and then just do stuff on the board, and then it would be a pretty game that I have a lot of fun with. But man, those objective cards just give me fits. But the panda is cute. There are two things I don't like about this, but they're like small and annoying things. You may notice that I don't have the player mats that come with it. Well, no, these are the player mats that come with it. They do not have space on here to store objectives that you get or to store your extra irrigation stuff, which is just like a small thing. You can put it on your board. It's no biggie. But I got the upgraded boards with the special artist artwork from Board Game Geek Store. And so you've got a spot where you can store your extra irrigation, a spot where you can store your upgrade tiles. And it's got this. They've got different artists to do the artwork for these. And I pick a different one every time. And you can see on the back of these, and also I think somewhere on the front, that each one of these is coded to a specific player. Yeah, on here you can see a specific player tile, like so. The other quibble I have with this game is a slightly bigger quibble. The rule book doesn't have all the rules in it. The rule book is incomplete and has things that are wrong with the rules. So, and this is not a new game. This game came out, oh gosh, I don't even know when it came out. But I mean, it's been reprinted a number of times. I'm not seeing a copyright on the back of it here, but I mean, it's been out for over a decade. There's even a collector's edition of it out, and they haven't fixed the rule book. So we go by the rules that we learned when we watched the Rodney Smith playthrough on Watch It Played, because that has all of the correct rules, which the rule book doesn't have. And one of the things that is messed up is that you need to place an improvement tile an improvement marker on a hex tile that does not have any bamboo already growing on it. I mean, if the panda munches the bamboo off, then it's cleared and you can put it down. But you can put the improvement tile down on it then. But if you've got bamboo growing on it, you can't just drop an improvement on it. And that's not in this rule book. And they've had plenty of times to upgrade the rule book, and they never have. So the thing is, whether or not you place an improvement, when you place an improvement tile on a tile, then whether or not you can do that when there's bamboo already growing on that tile, or whether you have to place it on tiles that are completely blank and don't have any other improvements on it, that makes a big difference in gameplay. It really does. So not having that in the rule book is kind of a big goof. And I'm not happy about that, because I know this game has been in print so long. It's not like they haven't had a chance to correct the rule book, because this is not a first printing of the game. So yeah, and that bugs me because I dropped something on the floor. It's just a little promotional thing, I think. And then after the Panda game, we played Canvas. This is the base game. This is the base game retail version. I did not back on Kickstarter or GameFound or whatever the heck it was on. But we like this. It's quiet, simple, kind of peaceful and lovely kind of game. You put together art tiles and transparent tiles in sleeves with backgrounds. These are like abstract kind of background tiles. background things, and you can see that these are in sleeves. It's not because I sleeved them, it's because they're supposed to be in sleeves. And then you put the transparent art tiles in there, 3 tiles per sleeve thingy. Like this one's got fishies on it. And you stack them together until you make a thing. And when you make a thing, then you announce your painting. You sleeve the painting, you announce it, you read the title off, because how you layer these things will determine what the title is. And it will also determine your scoring. There are a bunch of different types of scoring cards, so you can change up the scoring cards you use for every game. And you're trying to get certain things down here, like colors or symbols or combinations or positions of symbols and things. So so you make these like really interesting abstract kind of paintings, and you try to meet the scoring criteria. It's a lot of fun, a little tricky sometimes. It's also got that mechanic where you put a marker down if you want to go deeper into the line to get something, only it's not a coin, it's an inspiration token, which looks like an artist palette. But yeah, this is a beautiful game. It's even got a little thingy on the back so that you can hang the game on your wall if you wished, like so. I have backed expansions for this. I believe there are 2 expansion sets. They should have already fulfilled, but I think they'll fulfill next month. So you may be hearing stuff about Canvas expansions. I'm getting warm here. Maybe need to turn up the air or down the air, something like that. Anyhow, we also played Welcome To, and you may notice that it says Dry Erase, because we have the regular Welcome To, but since we got the Dry Erase expansions, we play with the Dry Erase boards. And we just played the regular game this time with the regular board, because the Dry Erase expansions, we have the seasonal expansions, Halloween, Christmas, Easter egg, and the ice cream truck for summer. And you have plans, you have 3 different plans for each of them, and you swap one of them in for plan number 3 in the base game, and you use the special boards for the seasonal thing. We have played all of the seasonal games. I think we liked Christmas, and we liked the ice cream truck quite a bit. The Easter Bunny kicked our butt. And we have not played Halloween because we got this right after Halloween last year. So this year, next month, will be the first playthrough with the Halloween. But what I wanted to show you is that the backside of these seasonal boards is the base game board. So you've got 4 of each seasonal boards, which gives you 16 base game boards, which means that you could still play, even though you don't have like a pad of paper for this flip and write game. You could still play up to 16 just for the base game and 4 for the expansions. However, that may be changing soon. Yes, indeed. I just this weekend found out that there is a collector's edition of Welcome To that will be coming out, I'm hoping, sometime soon. I just found out about it, so I don't know if that is like, I think it's supposed to be this year. It will be all dry erase. See, I've baggied my dry erase markers to keep them fresh. It will be the collector's edition. Let me read what I wrote down here rather than just trying to tell you right off the top of my head. Okay, it will have the base game. It will have all 4 of the seasonal expansions that I already have. It will have all released expansions. So in addition to the seasonal expansions I have, it will also have the Outbreak expansion and the Doomsday expansion. This edition will play 6 for the boards. It will play up to 6. So there'll be 6 dry erase boards and 6 dry erase markers. So, and it will also have, additionally, it will have a Roswell expansion, which has like spaceships and aliens. It will have boards for the Quacks expansion, which was originally available as a print and play expansion during lockdown in 2020. It will also have a rethemed expansion that was released in France, rethemed as American Dream. It will have 35 new cards for increased replayability, which I'm thinking that those are going to be city planning cards if they're talking about increased replayability. They're all dry erase. There's also, they say, 6 alternate art boards for the base game. So those base game boards are going to have art from 6 different artists, including 2 favorites of mine, Beth Sobel and Vincent Dutray. So that's something to look forward to. But there may be a worm in the apple or a snake in the garden. There's one thing in the Board Game Geek description of this that makes my blood run cold. One terrible sentence that I am just going like, oh, please, God, no. This is a potential downside. I won't know until I actually look at the game, but it says, and this is an exact quote, a complete reworking of the classic game, fast-paced and interactive. So basically, they take a game that is pretty much just your perfect flip and write, and they're completely reworking it. And let's not forget that one of the high selling points for flip and write games and roll and write games is no interactivity, because you can play large groups. Essentially, you have like one set of criteria, cards or dice with roll and writes, and large groups of people have their sheets and whatever, and they are doing their thing on it. But they're going to now make it interactive, and they're going to completely rework the game. The word complete reworking just makes my blood run cold. God only knows what this will be. I'm kind of excited about the more boards and more expansions and other boards, even though I've already got the seasonal expansions here. But the complete reworking, I'm going like, oh, please, God, let the boards be something that I can still play it with the old rules if I want to, if I think that whatever the heck they've done to it is awful. Because you just don't know until you see it. Now, you're thinking like, why should you be so hepped up about it? It's got a little bit extra, but you've already got the seasonal expansions here. Why would you want more? Well, see, here's the thing. That goes back to that playing a large group of people. And I mean, mostly we play it too. But that's one of the things I like about flipping rights and rolling rights is that you have the option, if there's, say, like a large group for some gathering or family event or something like that, that you could do this with a large group. You know, so this only does 4 for the seasonal expansions. That's the max. You've got 4 that you can introduce to the delights of the seasonal expansion or the horror of the Easter Bunny. But if I get the collector's edition, then I'll also have Outbreak and Doomsday, which I don't have, and 6 boards for that. And I'll also have Quacks and Roswell and American Dream. And I'll get like the nifty base game boards with the new artwork by the different artists, which could be fun. A little bit of variety there. But also, I get more of what I've got. Yeah, I can play 4 with these seasonal expansion boards. 4. But I get the collector's thing, and that means, since it plays 6, that means all of the seasonal expansions will now play at 10. So I can't be limited to 4. If my family group is 5, and it quite often is, it's 5 or 6, then that means I could play the seasonal expansions with them, because this only goes to 4. So yeah, getting that just upgraded the expansions that I already had to be something that can play with more players. assuming the complete reworking of the game doesn't screw that up. And as for the base game on the flip side of these seasonal boards, well, there's 4 seasonal expansions, so that means there's 4 boards for each of 4 seasonal expansions, so that means there's a grand total of 16 base game boards. The dry erase can play 16 of the base game. So then you add in 6 more base game for the collector's edition, and then you can play up to 22. I can't ever see us playing as many as 22, but still, big numbers. I mean, that could be like for a family reunion or something. It's worth thinking about. There are definitely some advantages to having more stuff, even though I've already got some of the stuff that there's more of. Though if anybody knows what that complete reworking of the game to make it interactive means, please let me know. And please reassure me that it is not going to be something horrifying and that I can still play it like I've always played it before. Because this is very entry level. I mean, this is a great game to just show someone what a flip and write or roll and write game can be like, and to just have a lot of fun with a bunch of people. But yeah, that's what we've been playing. And like I said, after the dungeons thing this weekend, we just went like super fun and light, old faves. And I might add, Canvas, Takenoko, and Welcome To were all games that we had not yet played this year. So like I said, I'm trying to get games off my unplayed game shelf, like Tiny Epic Dungeons and City of Iron. But I'm also, and Reckhold was on the unplayed game shelf too. So 3 weekends, 3 games off the unplayed game shelf. But I'm also looking at my games and checking to see if there's some games that we really, really like that we haven't played in a while. So maybe haven't even played this year. So some of those are kind of going to be going into the mix. So, and we're headed into spooky season now. So, and our spooky season games, I should say, are not particularly terrifying. We don't have themes that are like deeply, profoundly, disturbingly horror themed. They're fairly light. A lot of them are kind of Scooby-Doo level, though we do not have, I don't think we have any spooky games. But anyhow, we're going to be playing some Halloween-y games, and we're going to be playing some fall games. We do have some very nice fall games. So in October, November, you're going to be seeing some Halloween-y games. You're going to be seeing some fall games. I'm going to show you what we're playing off the unplayed game shelf, and I'm getting weirdly distracted because my hand is going across the camera there. It's like I'm trying not to do that. I'm messing myself up here. So that's what we've been playing the past 3 weekends. 9 games in 3 weekends and 2 videos. And I really probably shouldn't have done this because it just all ended up being way too much. But I had a lot of fun sitting here around the table chatting with you, even if it did take more editing and chopping everything up into little pieces. I hope you don't mind too much. But it's been good talking to you around the table. And I will see you, I say usually, next time around the table. But it will probably be, as usual, next week around the table.